You're listening to The Scrimmage with Daniel Hargrove and Justin Domashevitz.
Hey! Oh, did we lose Daniel?
Yeah, we lost Daniel.
Okay, apparently he did not find the right spot. Well, anyway, thanks for watching this very special Zoom-only edition of, feels like COVID times, like all the
It
Skype
does.
shows that we used to do, except they were just like us in boxes. I don't think it was as produced as this looks, but eventually we'll have Daniel freaking Hargrove on this call. I'm Justin Domashevitz, trusty producer. Andrew Gross here with me as well. We have a lot of district basketball to talk about. Going into the state tournament for our local teams, we have the seeding. We know who the matchups are going to be. We don't know where the games will be played or when yet, but we do know what the seeds are and who will be playing who. We're going to talk about which wrestlers won at the MAC Classic. And we're also going to talk about some swimming stuff. And then Daniel is going to share some really bad opinions on shared refrigerator food.
Sorry, I had to make a weird sound when I hopped in, so I had a bunch of technical difficulties right as we started.
That's shocking.
By the time I got back in, I needed to make a weird sound. So just throwing that in there, like that.
When you make the loud noises like that, it's cutting out in my headphones. Is it coming out across the live broadcast?
Is this whole? Are you running the radio broadcast through your phone, Daniel?
Isn't that so sad?
It is.
Just throwing that out there.
So I try to remind you of it a little bit, but I try not. I don't say it all the time because it's like I know you're aware of it. It is really frustrating to be. It gets to the most exciting part. Something happens. It cuts out and it comes back, and you're talking about the next possession, and it's like, what just happened?
Bro, okay, so every time you tell me that, I try to. So I'll turn myself down, but I think the problem is it's not where I'm turned down. I think it's at the station. And so my board op is doing a good job of keeping me at a good level for like coming through the radio station.
Uh-huh.
But the problem is if I go up from there, it cuts out over the stream. And I've talked to them multiple times about, hey, we need to figure something out about this. And this has been a year's problem. So now when you remind me,
does it
when
not
you remind
cut out
me,
on the radio?
No.
Oh, that's good. That's a lot better then.
It's only the stream.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah. So what I try to do after you remind me of that is when I make a big call, I try to remember to pull the mic away from my face. And so I'll be like, oh, like that.
The downside of that is that the crowd is also going nuts. So
yeah, it's so true.
Eliminate the crowds.
It did help.
It's so frustrating.
A lot yesterday that Elma High School Athletics was streaming the games on YouTube. So I had it synced up, and when you went quiet, I still could see what happened, which was helpful.
Dude, I'm so glad that it synced up well. Like, that's so cool. Part of me wanted to, dude, Justin, when you lean back like that, lean back how you were. So there's that, it looks like you have a halo.
It's because I'm an angel.
Doubtful. With your communist views on shared refrigerators, I doubt that you're an angel.
Well, you're a soy boy, so.
Chace Ferrier says that he thought Daniel was in prison for a second. Chace Ferrier says that he thought Daniel was in prison for a second.
Again?
And also, Nick was letting us know that he was streaming yesterday, too. I'm sorry, Nick. I did not watch your streams. I may
Dude,
need to make sure that I'm actually following you guys on my personal on the television YouTube account.
so the one thing, just throwing this out there, so I love Nick streams. The one thing that makes me wish that I wasn't working for the radio station and like not doing radio anymore is Nick streams. I think that we could stream basketball games under the scrimmage, and then Nick could hop on and make comments like I do to his broadcast sometimes. And I think that would be really cool. But I'm so tied to the radio station that it keeps me from doing that video broadcast, you
And
know?
also, we really appreciate the radio station and how dedicated they are to putting
Yes.
high school sports on the air.
Yep.
And if
Yeah.
we were to do that, it would like you doing it for the radio station there's an obligation involved, right? So like if
Yeah.
we were left to our own devices to just broadcast whatever games we wanted, we would be doing less games. Like no doubt about that for sure.
So true, King.
Yeah,
Yep.
but I get what you're saying, and I think it would be fun to do broadcasts the way that Nick does them. Also, I once watched Nick do a broadcast in person in which he was the commentator and responding to comments and working the camera and doing everything all at the same time. And I don't actually think I could do that.
Dude, he is amazing. He is so good.
He's like spinning plates. He's got like 5 plates spinning at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, because I'm gonna let you in behind the curtain a little bit of the radio station broadcast. I say it all the time, but I just have to talk. Like I talk and keep track of some stats, but Ross Davis produces everything back at the station. So he makes sure all the commercials are playing, letting me know when they're playing, when I'm back on. And then lately, the last few years, I have the freaking legend of Grace Harbor, Rick Anderson, keeping stats for me. So I know turnovers, rebounds, scoring runs throughout the whole game. Like, I'm so spoiled. If I was to do a game by myself where I'm trying to like run camera like Nick is doing and he keeps track of comments, that'd be a huge, huge adjustment. I don't know how to do it.
Yeah. Anyway, check out Nick's stuff. N2 Media. He's on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, the whole works. I think he has an Instagram too. Puts a lot of good stuff out there, and he covers the teams down in like the Kelso Longview area. So a lot of the teams that are in our team's district, but not in our league. Except I guess we're going to have some of those teams in league for Aberdeen next year. But
Yeah.
Nick does a lot of good work, and I think Nick did some of the commentary for the state games last year too, if I remember correctly. Maybe I'm getting that wrong. I think he was one of the commentators for the state playoff games.
Dude, if Nick's in the state playoff games, I need to talk to him because I'm not going to state. And I'm looking at how, I mean, do we want to jump into this now? Just in the state regional round? But
Do you want to?
if I'm not wrong, they're all away games.
Yeah.
So
So
in
there's a good chance that I'm not going to go to any of them.
Yeah.
in the comments, Nick is saying streaming's where it's at. You can do it. Just try it out. Practice makes perfect. Also, he and Chace were talking about Fort Vancouver being a 9 seed. And Chace was saying he thought if Fort Vancouver beat Monty by more last night, they would have been a top 8.
There's an argument to
was
be
the-
made for that.
This is
59,
gonna
55, I think.
This is going to be Into Media's 4th state year at Yakima.
Dude, Nick, pop in there. If Yakima Sundome is not like one of the best venues to host a state tournament, I don't know what is. Like,
Oakland
It is-
Square Garden.
so awesome. Yeah, you can't have state there though.
They could play some of the games at the junior high.
I will say the junior high basketball court is really nice.
Yeah.
But not enough stands. It only has one side of stands. But I don't know. I know I'm biased a little bit, but the Yakima Valley Sundome is like, to me, the perfect size for grandeur, so the kids feel special, and yet not so big that the place feels empty. It is. I mean, Justin, you and I covered games there once. It's awesome. It
Yeah,
is
it's really
so
fun.
cool.
Absolutely agreed, and that's why it's frustrating that we'll get into this. Well, let's talk about the district tournament games first. There was a
Okay.
lot of action this week, and then we'll go
Yeah.
into the seeding, and then maybe because I know basketball is going to dominate definitely the first portion of this show. Maybe on the other side of the break, we'll do wrestling and swimming, and then end with your bad takes on refrigerators.
Dude, I'm so curious on Andrew's takes on this. Like, he's so often the tiebreaker. I want to know where he's at on
I
this
think he's going to
so
think
bad.
that I think he's going to think that you have too many feelings on this situation.
That could be. That could be.
I think
But
that like ultimately this boils down to you have a lot of feelings. I don't have as many feelings.
that one, okay, that is a lie because you were the one with the most feelings when this first came up.
You know what's
Like
so funny though? We were at this Bible study, right? And so
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't want to spoil everything, but I do know that you and I like we got into it like in a very lighthearted and joking way. But
Yes.
I got animated and I said, Daniel, you've been wrong a lot of times in your life. You've never been more wrong than this. And I looked up at some of the people that don't know our dynamic quite as well, and like some of them were like wide-eyed, like, oh my gosh, they're having a real argument.
And all I'm thinking is like, wow, I've been wrong about a lot of things. That's impressive.
Yeah, it was funny.
Dude,
Anyway, let's talk
was
about
funny.
basketball.
Let's talk. Where do we want to start? Gosh, District Week is okay. So when I worked for the radio station full time, District Week of basketball was by far, bar none, my favorite week of the year, week and a half. I got to cut out early from normal work and just bust my butt on basketball coverage. I would cover as many games as possible. Now that I am not a daytime radio station person and I have to do like a full-time job slash overtime with that job and then cover basketball, I'm like, okay, basketball is awesome, but I'm so tired. I'm just so tired. But
And
the
you just
games
keep
are
producing
awesome.
children also. That's a
The way you
factor.
said that, keep producing children. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But there's still something about the district tournament where it's just like, hey, bunch of games, boys, girls, usually Monty, Elma, Hoquiam. We're just diving in, covering as many games as we can. And I gotta say, like, this was, even though things didn't go my way as much as I wanted to them to, Chace is probably a lot more happy than I am. Uh, it was a pretty awesome district tournament, and that's without the ability to cover any of the Monty games, which I think would have been really cool to cover too. So just tell me where do you want me to start? Like I've got district tourney stuff coming out my ears right now.
Okay. I felt like the most exciting and consequential finish was the Elma Hoquiam boys game. So let's
Oh,
start there.
bro. This game was wild. This game was so the Eagles, if you want to know the full story, Isaac McGaffey makes a free throw on the first possession of the game. Elma leads 1-0. Hoquiam then gets a 2-pointer on maybe the next possession, maybe a couple after that. Elma did not lead again after 1-0 until a minute and 5 seconds left in this game. Hoquiam went on like an 8-0 run after that free throw from Isaac McGaffey, and they led until Isaac McGaffey hit a 2-pointer, his last points of the game actually, with a minute and 5 seconds left in this game. So they scored first, and then he scored with a minute and 5 seconds. The game switched hands a couple of times, or at least tied back and forth since then, like after a minute and 5. But like that's the type of game this was. Like Hoquiam, after that 1-point lead by Elma, Hoquiam led throughout. And the entire game, I'm broadcasting this. I gotta say this as unbiased as I possibly can. Like I'm trying as hard as I can, but in the back of my head, Chace, no, if Chace was listening, he knows that everything I'm saying is with the back of my head going, "Dear God, hold on to this lead, please. Elma can score. Please hold on. Do not let this lead go." And I gotta say, there was one 8-0 run in the third quarter. But other than that, Justin, like this was not so much a game of runs. It was a game of Elma just by attrition, like chipping away, chipping away, chipping away, chipping away, so that like there wasn't a big run that sealed it. It was just like a grind. It was an absolute freaking grind because Hoquiam answered a lot, but Elma just answered one more time than Hoquiam did. One more time than Hoquiam did. And they were down 37-27 at half. Elma scored 43 points in the second half. Hoquiam did not have an answer defensively. And normally that ties to rebounding, but it really didn't. Hoquiam out-rebounded Elma in this game. 31-30. Tight, but they out-rebounded them. Normally in games where Hoquiam does not get out-rebounded, they're pretty darn good. But they just couldn't find an answer to stop Elma. And Hoquiam scored 30 points in the second half. Not a bad second half, but they couldn't find a stop. And it was buckets whenever they needed it from, Isaac had 19 points. He had 12 in the second half. He played a solid game. But my player of the game by far, and it wasn't just because of the buzzer beater, was Gavin Muir, who he's a sophomore. He comes in. This is the first time I'm seeing him start a game. Normally he's coming off the bench. And he's like so confident. I mean, even if you look at the last shot, there's 4 seconds left. He could have passed. He could have drove. He could have done so many different things. And yet he caught the pass. He wasn't that open. Like go watch the video that Forrest posted. He was not open. He had a breath. And he caught it and he was like, I'm going to knock this down. And he drilled it. He freaking drilled it for the game winner with 4 seconds left. And that's what he did. He scored, let's see, 9, 10. He scored 12 points in the fourth quarter. Gavin, and he led them in rebounding with 11. This sophomore came in and absolutely balled when Elma needed him. And, I mean, this was a game where, yeah, Hoquiam started fast, and then it felt like the way the game felt was Hoquiam holding on the whole time. And covering so many games in high school basketball, you feel like, okay, the team that gets up early, but it's an evenly matched game, you feel like the team that gets up early is going to lose it at the end. Dude, I was having stomach aches from the first quarter on. Like, I was like, crap, this is going to be one of those situations. But with saying that, Joey Bozic, the senior for Hoquiam, kept getting buckets. He had 11 points in the second quarter, and he had 9 points in the fourth quarter. And you felt like he was just going to will him to victory. And yet that last possession went to Elma. And it was really funny because I don't know if you watched the game like Andrew was watching the game, Justin, but so there's like 15 seconds left. Elma comes down, and Trey Yeager, who also played a great game off the bench for Elma, pulls up from the elbow with like 9 seconds left and drills a bucket. But Coach Ferrier had called a timeout. And he called it. He called it.
I didn't have
right
sound,
before.
so I didn't know what happened on that.
We didn't have sound either because Daniel's commentary cut out.
Oh, that sucks.
So we saw it go in, and we were like, wait, why hasn't the score changed?
Yeah, so Ferrier called a timeout right before he pulled up and hit that jumper. And the ball goes in, and you look over at Coach Ferrier, and he goes, "Oh no!" But then instantly, okay, let's reset. And I talked to Chace afterwards, and I was like, this might be a good thing. Like, even though he made the shot, there was 9 seconds left for Hoquiam to answer. But because he called that timeout, it changed the whole dynamic of the end of the game. Muir ends up hitting one with 4 seconds left. Hoquiam has no timeout. They're in a complete scramble. They lose the ball. McGaffey steals it, chucks it into the other side of the court. Elma wins. And you know what? If he doesn't call that timeout, Jaeger hits that 2-pointer, Hoquiam at least has the opportunity to tie, if not win on another game winner. And so at the time, you're thinking, I can't believe Ferrier called that. And yet the way it worked out, you're like, you know what?
Better.
Yeah. Better. Yeah.
How many points did Bozic score in the game?
Bozic ended up with 22 points.
Wow. He led the Grizzlies then?
Yeah, he led the Grizzlies. In the second quarter, when they really needed him, he hit 3 threes and a 2. He had a 2 in the third quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, when they really needed him again, he had 3 twos and a 3. And he was just nailed constantly whenever they needed him to be. And I got to say, a decent amount of those, probably 3 of them came off of Lincoln Nemi assists.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's games that I've seen, like the Kalama game, where Lincoln Nemi doesn't score that much, and he also doesn't feel as much involved in the game. But this one, he didn't score that much, but he facilitated a ton. He had at least 5 assists. He had a steal. He had a block. He scored 9 points. He only shot 4 shots in the first half. Like, so he was not trying to force things up against McGaffey. Because, McGaffey's just a legit dude when it comes to defenders. But he was trying to find his spots. He did shoot. So 4 of his shots were in the first half. 2 of them were like at the end of the quarter, time running out, got to chuck it up. One of them was from 3/4 court, and it hit the front of the rim. Like, it would have been ridiculous. But he shot one from about logo Lillard range in the second half that you were like, okay, he's pressing. But he didn't continue to press. He was just like, hey, I'm open. That hasn't happened all game. I'm just going to shoot it. And he was like back by the scorer's table on the sideline. And it went in and out. And you're like, okay, if he continues to do stupid stuff like that, then it's in his head. But he didn't continue to do. He started to facilitate after that. And that was what impressed me, is like, he easily could have started to be like, I need to get things done. And he didn't. He took that one shot. I dropped my camera. My sister's helping me out here with the phone stand. And that was what impressed me about his game. But yeah, Bozic played awesome in this game, and he rebounded a ton. He was just a great player in this game.
All right, we're gonna have to tighten up the commentary because we're already getting close to the end of our first segment.
It is
Dude,
40 minutes.
I talked so much. I'm sorry, but it was such an awesome game. Like, the entire game was just freaking awesome. And if Chace has anything else to say, I want to hear about it, because the entire game, I would like glance up at Chace to see what his reaction was. Dude had to be pooping bricks. Like, this game was nuts.
Not literally.
But he did say in the comments that the game was very bad on his heart rate. He also said, once we got going with Isaac and Gavin under the basket, the offense was flowing. Reminded me of the 4th at home against Monty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. Isaac started slow, and then just once he got going towards the basket, it was like, good luck stopping him. Yeah, he was great.
I think as far as Hoquiam's concerned, it's going to be a bummer to not have Joey there, obviously. Bozic graduating, and then Ryan Pullard graduating too, who's a rotational post for them. But they're bringing most of that team back. It's going to be Riker Maxfield and Lincoln Nemi's senior year. They have a year of development for KJ McCoy, who became just a massive part of that team, and he was only a freshman. Assuming that a couple of those guys that played JV are going to move up to varsity as well, I'm assuming and hoping that we're going to see some Moses DeShazier out there just wreaking havoc. He's got some development to be done in his offensive game, but he is insanely athletic. I watched him play JV. He had like 10 steals in about 8 minutes of play. I think that next year for Hoquiam is going to be, it's hard to say a step forward when you lose somebody like Joey, who proved he can be so good in big moments. But I think next year is going to be a good year for Hoquiam.
I don't know if they're going to do this because I've heard you have to petition to have an eighth grader on your team. But I really wish that lawyer Nemi could play with Lincoln, but he'll be in eighth grade next year.
It's about numbers too. Like you can petition for it, but it has to do with like how many total players you have in your program.
If Hoquiam girls petitioned, I'm sure they'd get eighth graders because they only had 7 people. I don't know about Hoquiam's boys program. I just think it would be so cool to watch those two brothers play together. And everything I've heard from some of lawyers coaches in the younger ages, dude's a stud. Like some of his coaches are so high on him. Just want to do a quick rundown before we have to go to a break. So Joey led Hoquiam in scoring with 22. KJ McCoy had 16 and 10 rebounds. He had 8 rebounds in the first half, and maybe all of them were offensive rebounds. It was a weird game. Then Lincoln Nemi had 9. He had over half of those from the free throw line. Riker Maxfield had 10 in the game. He played a great game. Talon Abbott played a great game. He had 8 points and 11 rebounds. And then Ethan Byron had 2 points. And you know the skill set of Ethan Byron. Like he's an athletic dude, flies high, and plays, rebounds a ton. So I really like how he plays. On the Elma side of things, so Gavin Muir was my player of the game. Not only did he lead them with rebounding with 11, but he had 22 points. Sophomore starting in his first game that I could see. Played awesome. Isaac, you know what Isaac does. He does everything. He scored 19. And then Trey Yeager off the bench scored 14 points. He just knocked down big shots. And it was just awesome. Like, he came in off the bench, and I was thinking, all right, this is normally Trayton Webb's deal to knock down some big shots as a starter. But for whatever reason, Trey was the guy who just came in and knocked down some big shots. Giancarlos Moreno rebounded well as a point guard as well. I don't know what he ended up with. He had 5 in the first half. He had 5 points. Dylan Meyer Elmo decided to go small in this game, which was different. But he ended up only with 3 points. And then Tanner Moe, you know how we love Tanner and the way he plays the game. He only ended up with 5 points, but you know that he affected the game in so many other ways. So, that was the scoring and the stats that I had from that Elma Hoquiam game. The only other thing I'll say is that Lincoln had 5 assists, a block, and a steal, at least. So, the type of game that you want to watch, because it was back and forth scoring. It was awesome. It was a fun game.
All right, we got 9 minutes left in this first segment. Let's fill that 9 minutes with some talk about Monty Boys action this week. Okay. So Tuesday was the semifinal game against Elma being in that winner to state loser out game against Hoquiam, and put Monty into the district title game against Fort Vancouver yesterday. Spoiler alert, they lost that game by 4. But considering the way Fort Vancouver ran through the Trico 1A League, I don't think losing by 4 to Fort Vancouver is a bad loss at all for Monty. But let's talk, Daniel, just for a few minutes about that Tuesday game. That was the third matchup between those two teams. And when Elma played Monty in Elma the first time around, they controlled that game really well, won by double digits. It was a complete reversal in the second league matchup. Monty took control of that game early, dominated pretty much the whole way through, won pretty handily. The third matchup was a little closer, but the Monty boys came out triumphant in that one.
Okay, first of all, Do you know how hard it was for me to say on the radio Fort Vancouver? all Every time I had to consciously say, don't say fart Vancouver. Like, every single time. But yeah, that Monty Elma game was it started out a lot better than it finished. So that was a true game of runs where Monty started out with a big run, Elma answered with a big run, and then Monty finished with a big run and then held on for that 57-45 win. But that was a fun game to watch for a lot of different reasons. And I'm talking with some of the Elma fans, parents, stuff like that. The difference of Ryan Weidman is insane. Like, when you talk to people on the other side of things, they're like, oh, Ryan didn't seem that good. And then all of a sudden, for the last 10 games, Ryan's awesome. And I think that's the difference for this Monty team and why they're so much better than maybe what happened at the beginning of the season. Does that make sense? Is that too oversimplifying things? And maybe it's the fact that he's just used to playing with these guys and understands the role he needs to take. But holy smokes, what Ryan's doing the last 7 to 10 games is what you need from him. And I think what is pushing Monty to a higher level.
So I would say, I mean, I've watched this team a lot throughout the course of the year, and Ryan is the only guy I didn't know before the season started. And I thought right off the bat that he was impressive, good player. I think that early in the season, he might have had a little bit more of a inclination to just huck jumpers. But I would have never at any point I thought he was important for them because they needed a ball handler, and he provides a good calming ball handling presence. But I did notice that, I would say specifically with things like finishing around the basket and distributing, he's really, really good at distributing in small spaces, not just a drive and dish to kick to an open jumper, but a drive and draw the defense to you and then dish to either Mason Fry or Caden Grubb or some kind of open guy under the basket. His close quarters play just got stronger and stronger and stronger as the season went on, to the point where, in the La Center game, the district opener, he's the best player on the floor, 25 points, 10 assists, 4 steals, doing it on both ends. I would say that his game, and it could be because he came from 1B and the adjustment of playing in 1A, so coming from Oakville and then playing for Monty, that the competition level is just a little higher, and it might have I thought he was good right off the bat, but he just got stronger and stronger and stronger as the season went on, to the point that he's absolutely an invaluable piece on this team. Really, really important, and at some points their best player. So I think Ryan Weidman definitely, and I think you were probably seeing them more towards the end of the year, when he was really coming into his own. But I would have never, as someone who watched him early too, I would have never at any point thought, oh, this kid's not that good. I thought he was good right off the bat, and a good impact.
Contrary to Elma fans, which is who I'm talking to, it's not that he wasn't good. It's just that he, in my head, from talking to them, he filled a ball handling defense role. He was a Daniel Hargrove. He didn't do squat offensively. He played defense, and he maybe calmed them down on offense a little bit, just handling the ball. And what he's evolved into is this is a kid who could be a bucket getter next year. We might look at Ryan Weidman as a certified bucket getter next year. Dude, whoa. Justin, this kid goes to the rack.
Yeah.
He drives and pulls up from the mid-range, and when you need him, he'll knock down a 3. Name me the criteria for a bucket getter.
Yeah.
It's that.
He can create his own shot.
And what I saw from him, what I thought of him early in the season was, this is a kid who will provide ball handling and defense. And then towards the end of the year, I'm like, no, this is the guy they look to go get a bucket. And I love it.
And it's a big time deal too, because like the primary scorers for most of this season had been Mason Fry and Caden Grubb. Every once in a while, Tarek would pop off for a big scoring game. Colton Grubb might pop off for a big scoring game. But for the most part, the guys carrying the load were Mason and Caden throughout the whole year. And then you're starting to see just like this little increase with Ryan about the scoring load that he's taking on. And he's definitely shown that he's very capable of that for sure. And it's different styles of scoring too, because Mason, you want him to get inside. He's excellent at keeping the ball high. He's good at working high-low action, very good at finishing. Ryan's a little more like drive to the basket and finish, and he can do different things with the ball in his hands. And then Caden, on the other hand, is more of like, yeah, he'll hit some jumpers and some set shots every once in a while, but he's a low post scorer, gets a lot of offensive rebounds and that kind of thing. So they're complementing each other really nicely.
And the other thing is it pushes Colton to an off-ball scorer, which I think is where he should live.
Oh yes, absolutely.
And also, dude, I was saying this during my broadcast. You can't broadcast jinx a good free throw shooter. And Ryan went 7 for 8 from the free throw line, and I was literally saying Ryan's 2 for 2, Ryan's 4 for 4, Ryan's 5 for 5, right? And it was just like he just kept knocking him down, and I kept saying, can't jinx a dude with good free throw form, and that was a big part of his game as he finished with 17 points, and 7 of those came from the free throw line. And that comes from A, him making the free throws, but B, him attacking the bucket and picking up fouls, going hard at the rim. And you know how much we love a point guard who attacks the rim. And Andrew's saying we need to take a commercial break. So I think this will be a good time for one, and I'm going to exit for completely normal reasons.
Yeah. So we have, as Daniel exits for completely normal reasons, we're going to talk some girls basketball. We're going to talk basketball seeding. We're going to try our best to bring Chace Ferrier in to talk some Elmo with us. We got wrestling ahead. We got swimming ahead, and we got Daniel's really bad opinions ahead. But first, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and bear with us if it takes us a little bit longer than usual on the other side to get back.
Do you have a legal situation and need someone on your side? Let the law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz be your advocate. If you've been the victim of medical malpractice, suffered a personal injury, or need representation with real estate law, small business law, or estate planning, let Jeff Domashevitz put his 29 years of experience to work for you. Call Jeff Domashevitz today at 360-612-3991 or visit domashevitzlaw.com. That's DAMASIEWICZLAW.com.
Spivey Realty Group's goal is to make buying, selling, investing, and renting real estate in Grace Harbor simple. They believe in 100% transparency and unparalleled communication with local expertise, tech-enhanced, and top-notch service for their friends, neighbors, and community. Their goal is simple: get a group of strong-willed, hard-working people together who want to make a difference in Grace Harbor and to use real estate as the means of achieving that. Voted Grace Harbor's best real estate company. Find them on Facebook or visit graceharborrealestate.com. Spivey Realty Group, elevating small town real estate.
It might be a minute here.
Do you have a legal situation and need someone on your side? Let the law office of Jeffrey A. Damashevitz be your advocate. If you've been the victim of medical malpractice, suffered a personal injury, or need representation with real estate law, small business law, or estate planning, let Jeff Damashevitz put his 29 years of experience to work for you. Call Jeff Damashevitz today at 360-612-3991 or visit damashevitzlaw.com. That's DAMASIEWICZLAW.com.
Hey.
Hi. Can everyone hear me live?
I think so.
Okay. If you can hear us live, we are experiencing unforeseen technical difficulties, and we are in the process of trying to make this work. While Daniel was in the bathroom, I ran to a tropical beach. I'm going to be honest with you, I have no idea how I got here. But I am enjoying, having my toes in the sand while we talk some sports. So hopefully Daniel will see this link and join us. And I'm going to, now that I have the link, I'm going to send it to Chace too and see if he'll jump in. I'm going to assume that the last time I created a meeting in Zoom, which I don't even know I have no idea
You might
outside
need
of.
to allow Daniel into the meeting.
Okay. Let's see.
Click on
Participants.
Yeah.
Daniel freaking Hargrove, admit.
Hooray!
Daniel Hargrove has been admitted to the meeting.
Woohoo! I'm here. I was just looking outside. Apparently, a storm has started. My wife said that it was thundering outside.
Oh.
Oh.
Justin is in Hawaii, apparently.
I think I accidentally muted Andrew. Andrew, I think you're muted. And now I keep.
Am I unmuted now?
Yeah, you are.
Okay, there we go.
Okay. Oh, wait, I'm about to admit Chace. Let's see how chaotic this makes things.
Oh, Chace is coming in. Do we really want to do this right now?
Chace is joining the call. Chace Ferrier.
Hey, guys.
Okay. Chace, like, the game gets over, and I see Chace coming across the stage, or the gym, and I'm like, crap. Here comes Chace to gloat.
I didn't gloat. I
No.
didn't gloat to you. I was
You
gloating
didn't.
to everybody else. But no, it was pretty awesome.
Daniel, you let me know. I can have him removed at any moment because now I'm in charge of this call. So
I gotta say, so I did my I held it together as best I could, and then I saw Chace coming up. I went to commercial, and I was like, dude, congratulations. And he was like, I'm not here to rub it in. I'm like, I know you're not here to rub it in, but as a Hoquiam guy, I'm so sad right now.
Oh, I
and
know.
I was trying so hard to be happy for you. I really was.
No,
Chace needed a win, though.
When I went over there, I in my brain, I kind of I was so I was on cloud nine, so I kind of forgot for a moment that you were a Hoquiam guy when I was going over there. And then when you said that, I was like, oh yeah.
That just means you're a good journalist. If Chace forgot that you're a Grizzly, that means that you cover these sports in an impartial way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never forget that you're a Bulldog, Justin.
You shouldn't.
Yeah.
You shouldn't. That's why we're
All
mortal enemies.
Hey, Chace. So
Uh-huh.
I kind of gave my perspective as someone who is trying to be impartial, but under the surface, rooting for Hoquiam, hoping they hold on. I want to hear that game from your perspective. You guys go down early and you're clawing your way back bit by bit, bit by bit, bit by bit. And I remember looking over at you at one point when Isaac McGaffey weirdly smoked a layup. Like he had a layup and he missed it. And I just remember seeing your face.
Frustration foul.
Yeah. Yes, you're right. He missed the layup and then frustration foul. And I saw you were just like, you gotta be kidding me. How is this happening? But I want to hear this game from your perspective on like the opposite end that I was.
Mm-hmm. So we come out, we win the jump, and Isaac's driving for a layup and he gets fouled. And like first possession of the game, he misses it, they call the foul, and it's like, okay, it's like we're going. We're cruising. He only hits one. So it's like, And then after that, for the majority of the first half, there was a lot of unforced bad turnovers. It felt like on our side, it was a lot of turnovers that just killed possessions for us. We had trouble rebounding. We let the KJ McCoy like just come out of nowhere like so many times and just rebound again and again and again. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, and Joey Bozich came up big for you guys too. Did you guys hear me? Daniel's frozen on my end.
It's chopping. It's cutting in and out a little bit, but we mostly heard you. You're oh yeah, there you're back. I think your video was frozen for a second, but now you're back.
Okay, I just saw Daniel frozen with like a Joker grin on my screen, so I was like,
that's just his smile.
Yeah, that wasn't frozen. That was just him freezing in real life.
But no, it was a very frustrating game. Like I just looked because so much happened yesterday. I still haven't even made any of my posts for my page, but we were down 10 at halftime, and then coming out of the half, Hoquiam makes a couple buckets, and we're down 14, and it's like, oh my god, like, and then in the fourth quarter, or some in the end of the third, but mostly in the fourth, we cut down on those unforced turnovers. We started rebounding a little more, and Isaac had some big buckets, but like you said, Gavin Muir is the story of this game. He's actually stepped up big in all three district games. He was really good in Monty when him and JC and Monty were big when I felt like other people didn't show up the way they needed to beat Monty in the third Monty game. But JC and Gavin were really big in that game. They hit a ton of threes. And that game, we just need a little more scoring down low. And that could have ended up a little differently. The Monty game, we hit a ton of threes, but we just needed a little more under the basket. And then in Kingsway, Gavin was big too.
I didn't see the Kingsway game, but I want to reinforce what you're saying, Chace, with the stats. You said unforced turnovers in that Elma Hoquiam game in the first half. So Elma had 4 turnovers in the first quarter to Hoquiam 0. And then you guys each had 5 turnovers apiece in the second quarter. And then after that, it ended up evening out because you guys forced turnovers and didn't commit many turnovers after that. So 100% your feeling on that and how that game fluctuated was you guys took so much better care of the basketball in the second half. And then, yeah, Gavin Muir, where did this kid come from? Like, I listed the starting lineup and then they announced it and I was like, oh, Gavin's starting.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. And
So,
like his catch and shoot ability is insane because he did not have much space. It was not like a wide open 3-point attempt. It was, I'm a good shooter. I'm going to take this. And he knocked it down. Like, where did Gavin come from? And why am I so excited about how this kid plays?
Yeah. So last year, Gavin and JC were on C Squad, and they were the best players on C Squad.
Wow.
And then at one point, they got brought up to JV, and they were the best players on JV too, the two of them. And coming to varsity this year as sophomores, they were. When I was talking with people, I remember before the season when I think it was Justin I was talking to, that he was concerned that it was going to be just Isaac. That's all we were going to have. That I was like, there's some kids, there's some talent coming up. They were, a big part of that. And JC started earlier the year, taking over as the point guard from Tanner, which allowed Tanner to go to off guard, which has been big for us too. And Gavin's, he's a little undersized for big sometimes. So sometimes that's when, he doesn't play maybe as much as, earlier in the year as he's still developing as a player. And then obviously we have Dylan Meyer that's, a bigger presence in there. So you put him in there. But Gavin's been just in the post 3 games in a row, really. He's showed up and did really good things for us. Like Kingsway, you left, so you didn't see Kingsway play, so you didn't see how their size, but he was big against some guys that were a lot taller and a lot bigger than him at Kingsway last week. So
what I think about him is is a dude who on defense will get down and dirty, rebound, play hard, and then on the other hand, on the other side, on the offensive side, will knock down threes and go to work in the paint. Like, the kid's impressive. Like, because you're right, he's only about. I mean, you guys don't have on the rosters I've seen, you don't have the sizes, but I think he's about 6'1".
yeah,
But he plays bigger than that down low, and he plays smaller than that on the outside.
Yeah, he plays like a post and a guard.
Yeah.
He's pretty versatile. And I remember one of the buckets I think that really got us going, I just want to give some Isaac's driving on the left side, so like right in front of our bench. And he's driving, and it's like, oh, Isaac's just going to go through the guy and score, and score it. But Gavin is just standing in the middle in the key and open. And Isaac just tosses him like a perfect pass right down there. I watched it. He was right in front of me, just dropped it right to him. And the Hoquiam, I don't remember who it was, but Hoquiam fouled him, like pushed him from behind as he was shooting it. And then he scored it, and it was an and one, and that was a big bucket for us.
I want to say that might have been the first bucket of the fourth quarter for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember that play he had, and then he finished it with the free throw, the and one for the 3-point play. But it was one of those where it was like, if you're gonna foul someone on defense, you couldn't have fouled him in a way that would make it easier for him to finish, because you were just kind of like nudging him.
Yeah, he was like right behind him, and he just nudged him like as he's shooting it, and it's like that. I do want to shout out KJ McCoy and Joey Bozich for Hoquiam, though. They were really big in that game. They kept Hoquiam in. Isaac did, as he has in the past, but I think of the 3 games this year, he really did a good job on Lincoln. He held him to, I think, 9 points, and 5 of them were free throws, I want to say.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's, and one of the times he scored may have even been both of. I think he got switched off of Isaac. I don't know if Isaac even allowed us. Maybe
I know one of them was a really good screen, and that was another thing. Joey screened really well, like made sure Isaac didn't get through,
and got him off of it, and then Lincoln just went to the basket. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and the other one, I think the other bucket was one of the few times that Lincoln got Isaac to jump on a pump fake.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I think Lincoln scored 2 points against Isaac.
Yeah, 2 points. I mean, that's
Yeah.
Versus,
Yeah.
the game at Hoquiam, Isaac did a good job on him, but like he was still. I mean, that's your home court. He hit some big threes in that game on Isaac. Obviously, the game winner. But I still have nightmares about that night. But no, but Joey, for a senior to go out like that, he had a good game, and then McCoy's come on this year. Like he's going to be a good player, and Hoquiam, I mean, their football is probably happy to have him too as their quarterback moving. I don't know if he does anything in the spring, but he's an athlete for sure.
Yeah. Shifting gears a little bit because we've talked so much about that it was such a sick game. Like that was what you want.
Yeah, it was the second time in 4 years we made the state tournament. We made it 3 years ago, and the second time since 2002 or 3, somewhere in there. There was a stretch in Elma basketball where a lot of it was playing at 2A, and then all the stuff, the aftermath of that. But there was a stretch.
The 2A. Trust me, having lived through that 2A stretch as a Hoquiam player, that sucked.
Yeah. And then the aftermath that has on your sports culture, versus, some guy gets to stay in 1A over there and the whole time and never lose, never have to do with that. Because, anyways, I was talking about Monty. But
so let's shift gears a little bit, because this Elma Hoquiam girls game, you came over to me and you're like, hey, I'm excited we won. I'm sorry you lost, but this next game will probably go your direction. I was sweating bullets the whole freaking game. Olivia Moore comes in and drops like 2 3-pointers from 9 miles away. And I'm going, is Hoquiam going to win? Yeah. I don't know.
I know. I just want to clarify. I have faith in the Elma girls. It was just, I have faith in the Elma girls. But yeah, they were, I think a lot of it, I think the girls were pretty hyped up about the ending of the boys' game and Gavin's shot and everything. So you come out, Olivia drills a 3 to start the game. She drills another one. And then after that
second one, by the way, was deep.
Yeah, it was. That was shot.
Absolutely.
But it evened out after that. I think both teams competed really hard. I think whatever the girls did in practice or whatever to gear up for this game versus a team that everyone favors to beat you, and that you've already lost to them twice in the season and you're coming into the third game. I mean, the boys too, we lost to Hoquiam, both times, but
by 1 point.
By 1 point. But, so like the girls' games, Hoquiam beat us by a little bit more. So then to come into that game and only lose by 3 and compete with them the whole time versus the team that everyone, including me, expected to be the league champion and probably playing Seton Catholic in the district title game and not Monty. And then obviously they had some roster things that happened that prevented that from happening. But for the Elma girls to come out, they competed hard. If we could have just scored a couple more buckets, we win that game. Couple more lay-ins that didn't go in or whatever, 3-pointers that bounced off the rim. That's basketball, but we were right in there with them.
Dude, sure. The amount of shots on both sides that went in and out.
I know.
Like Casey, for Hoquiam, on the Hoquiam side of things, their senior Casey Kruger, how many shots of hers from right inside the 3-point line went in and out? And then the girl, let's see, what's her name? Kenna Monroe.
Monroe.
Her shots from 3-point look good.
They like almost went in, and she hit,
She only made one, but
Yeah.
they all looked like they were going down.
in White Salmon, the game that we lost by 1 in White Salmon last week. She hit 4 in that game, and she kept
I can
us.
see it. It
Yeah.
looks good. Like coming off her hands, it looks true. And Justin knows this because he's broadcasting games for me. A
Mhm.
lot of times when the ball comes off somebody's hands, I'll be like, "That's off," and he's like, "Oh, the ball hasn't gone through yet," and I'm like, "No, that's a miss." But every time she shot it, I was like, "That could go down." Oh,
Yeah.
she missed.
Yeah, I know. And it was like you hit one more of those that put back at the end. Anyone. I mean, they competed really hard, and I want to say they did exceed my expectations coming off last year where they were out in 2 in districts, and then Kiki transferred away from them.
Where's she at now?
River Ridge. She went to River
Lame.
Ridge.
Lame.
But they had some younger, like Michaela Roberts came in, did some things for them. Olivia. I think there's a freshman post player that I think with a little bit more. She's the soccer goalie, Emlyn Gonzalez. She's the goalie for the soccer team. But
She's got some athleticism. I like her game.
With some, little development as she gets older, I think she'll turn into a pretty good basketball player. They exceeded, and they were a possession away from going to state versus a program that unfortunately has not had a lot of success in the last 5 or 6 years. And so I was happy with the girls' season for sure.
Justin's just chilling there. He hasn't said a word for like a half hour. But I want you guys to now talk. I'm gonna chill. I'm just gonna hang back. You guys are the most invested in Monty and Elma and the spots that you guys got for the state tournament. So I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna hang back, and you guys can talk about state basketball.
I'm a little bit happier with what Elma got than what Justin is, so Justin can start.
Well, I mean, if the team that I was rooting for only had to drive a couple of hours instead of 4, I would probably feel better about that. Which is part of the reason. Like when I got really mad, and I started texting the group with Daniel and Andrew, and
I saw Daniel, you on Evan's Rankings Twitter too.
Well, Daniel likes to do this thing where Daniel, anytime that Daniel is upset about something local sports related, I always support him. If I'm ever upset about something local sports related and it's related to any team except for Monty, he'll agree with me. If I'm ever upset about anything Monty related, he will play devil's advocate. So when I got mad about Monty feeding, he jumped in and he was like, well, I mean, I don't know. If you look at it, it seems mostly pretty close. And he's right. Like,
yeah,
we're kind of splitting hairs on who should be seated between 11 and 14, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because of, and for those who don't know, the final seating for Montesano was 13, Elma was 14, which if you're below the 12 line, it means that you go out of town for a regional elimination game to even get the chance to go to Yakima. And then even if you earn the chance to go to Yakima, you're still playing an elimination game on the first day at Yakima. So for Monty, they can drive through Yakima to go to Wapato.
Or wherever it's not going to be in Wapato, but it'll be somewhere close.
Sometimes they play those at home.
It might be. See, Justin, if you would have framed it as this stupid state tournament, I would have been like, yeah, this is so dumb.
This is where I'm going. But because they did, so they to go through Yakima to Wapato, or wherever they play. If they play in Yakima, whatever they're going to go to Yakima. to earn another shot to go to Yakima to play back-to-back elimination games. Yeah, thank you, WIAA. You're saving the school so much money by having the tournament this way instead of just getting everybody to Yakima and play a full, 4-day tournament or whatever it is. Anyway, I'm going to get off my soapbox in that for just a moment.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it going, okay, because Daniel decided he needed to be reasonable and bother me with facts. I didn't appreciate it, but
Rude.
also like
you could have manipulated me.
just a
I could have been
full-
on your side.
Daniel, I don't manipulate people. Okay, so if it was just like a full 1 through 16, and you're like, oh, you could tweak a seed here 2 or 3 spots, like it really wouldn't be that big of a deal. But because they've created this tiered system where it's so advantageous to be in the top 8, and then whether you're 9 to 12 or 13 to 16 makes such a huge difference whether you play home or away in these regional round games. I'm way more mad about it than I would be if it was just like a straight 1 through 16 seeding with everybody in Yakima. But with Monty getting the 13 seed and Wapato getting the 12, it's like the guys who do the seeding, they know that. Like they're having these kind of conversations. They're like, okay, 12 or 13, we have to compare these two teams to see which one should deserve to have the home game and which one should deserve to have the away game. They have to have those conversations. And they looked at a team that lost 11 games, finished 4th in their own district. And if you even look at the computerized rankings, like their precious RPI, Monty's 5 spots ahead of Wapato in the precious RPI. And even in the Evans rankings, there's several spots ahead of them. And like if you go, by the way, Evans rankings, go check out Evans rankings on Twitter. He does a lot of good work. He does something that's way better than RPI. And then he did this new thing this year where he's taking his rankings and then he does his projected seeds. And then he takes his rankings combined with the RPI and he does a mathematic formula to get a combined one. And in both of those scenarios, I believe Monty Boys were 11 and Wapato was 15. So you're taking like from what I believe is the best computer ranking possible, and there's a big gap between these two, and you're flipping them to where if one's the 12 and one's the 13 and everybody's in Yakima, who cares? But if one's the 12 and one's the 13 and now all of a sudden you've got a home and away situation, it sucks. And so I'm kind of pissed off about it. And I think like that combined with, and Monty, Elma being 1 spot apart from each other, no problem with
Makes
that at all.
sense.
They
It
played
makes
3
sense.
times this year. Monty won 2. The teams are really close to each other in the league. I totally get that. But Fort Vancouver, as a district champion who won 20 games, not even getting a spot in the top 8, where they're guaranteed.
Hopefully they're just punishing them for being a 3A school. That would be nice.
That'd be an argument I could get behind. But like, if you have, like it's complete District 4 disrespect across the board.
Mhm.
Like, not only are we going to take your 20-win district champion and not give them an automatic bid to Yakima, but we're going to take the next best team in your district, and we're going to take a team from the east side of the mountains and flop them so that they have to travel 4 hours to go play them in their house. It's ridiculous. We got to the point where like the seating committees get most stuff pretty right, but I still want reform because I'm mad about this.
Well, I bet what happened was they compared District 4 and District 5, and considering that at the top of the rankings, you have Zilla and Royal and Chelan, 3 like top teams, all from District 5. Wapato's the 4th team.
That's 1, 3, and 7.
1, 3, and 7. So they basically went with District 5 was the Yakima Valley was a better district than District 4, Southwest Washington.
I wouldn't argue that in general.
Yeah, which I would agree with. I know we don't like to think about this, but I do think that in most things outside of softball, we are actually behind the state in the landscape of 1A sports. Outside of, there's teams that are really good.
Yeah, it's nice to be a suburb of a major city like Yakima where you can draw players from a big city, a bigger city.
Or Vancouver.
Or Vancouver.
But as a whole, if you look over the last probably 10 years at how District 4 and 1A has performed in the state, I would think that we're behind other areas of the state.
Especially in basketball. And I don't have like a big gripe with that particular argument, except for the fact that like they look at District 4 and they're like, oh, that's a bad district. So then we give you disadvantages in seeding. Like there was a situation a few years ago that Tenino was really good and Seton Catholic were really good. So they were like, okay, Tenino, we know you're really good, but we're still only going to give you the 8 seed. So you get to start out by going and being the sacrificial lamb to number 1 Zilla, who's amazing and nobody's going to beat him. And then the very next game is an elimination game against a team that's seeded the same as you. Like it's an 8-9 game. So like, yes, they're looking at District 4 going, you're a worse district. And also we're going to put you in the worst possible situations. So we can continue to prove that you're the worst district by making you drive 4 hours to play a team that's probably similar to your level, instead of looking at the records and looking at the actual resume and treating it with treating District 4 with just a little tiny bit of respect.
A little respect. I would also like to bring up though that since they did the stupid Week 10 football thing the last couple of years, they do like to send Eastern Washington teams to Monty for that first round. In football.
Those are indisputable. Like obviously Monty gets to be that. What are you talking about, Chase? You know what? I'm going to go ahead and just remove you from this call. Where is the remove? Well, you're lucky I can't find the remove button.
Sorry, I had to throw that in there. But no, I do think, I mean, I agree with you. I think just send all 16 teams to Yakima.
Yes.
Because what you're doing is you're robbing 4 groups of kids and coaching staffs of an experience in Yakima.
Yes.
You are. And it's the same thing in football. Like 1A we're like 1 team short from having a 16-team tournament. So we're like 1 or 2 teams short. So it's a 12-team tournament. Well, then 4 groups of kids lose out on football state too, So it's
yes.
And like you said, they're not, the more you think about it, getting all these regional sites and sending all these schools across the mountain, 4 of the 8 games are across the mountains in 1A. They can't be saving that much money to not just send them all to Yakima once versus you send a team across the mountain. And if they win, then the score, sometimes it's a seeding game, so it doesn't really matter. Then the school has to send them back over there 3 days later to Yakima,
Yeah. It's wild. It's so dumb.
Well, how many times do we have these issues where like, we look at the seating committees and we're like, okay, they mostly get stuff pretty right. But when there's a thing that seems like, this is out of place or it's weird, how many times later do we find out that school had someone on the committee? It's almost every single time. This happened with freaking Eatonville. It happens with Royal, even though they deserve to be the number 1 seed pretty much every year. It happens like this kind of crap happens where it turns out that these schools actually had someone on the committee, and whether that person was like intentionally using leverage to get themselves a higher seed, or if it's just implied leverage because everyone else knows, well, we have to go back to this guy, and even though they recused themselves from this conversation, we're going to bring them back in at some point and tell them what their seed is, and we don't want them to be mad. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we find out that Wapato had someone on the seating committee, or maybe even just anyone from District 5.
From District 5,
any team from District 5, they have some representative. Because usually every district has a representative on the committee.
Our league does too.
Yeah, but then I've talked to people from our district who are on these seating committees, and they get trampled by the east side of the mountains.
Yeah,
it's just the way it goes.
And I don't know if it's public, but our representative is from Tenino.
Okay.
Tenino.
Well, if it's who I think it is, then I would trust that person too.
It's probably
right.
And yes.
And I would agree. He probably fights hard for us.
Yep.
And I don't wanna fight against Wapato. Wapato Wapato is the hoquiam of that area.
Well, so
Wapato is the low income of that area. They are not the person you want to get upset against. Like
I'm mad at Wapato.
they are the outside of that area.
Well,
But
also screw
District 5 has a lot of power.
mhm.
The solution is a 16-team freaking tournament that was perfect freaking 20 years ago. Stop changing crap.
Wapato has totally ruined this tournament.
Dude, I'm low-key a Wapato fan because they are always undersized.
Or because they're playing against Monty, and you always
Yeah,
want to root
Daniel,
against Monty.
I know who I'm rooting for in that game. Are you rooting for Monty or are you rooting for Wapato?
You're both rooting for Wapato. I know what's going on here, okay? I already understand what's happening.
Dude, I'll root for Monty, but the fact that Wapato, Justin, go find an Airbnb or a hotel in Wapato and tell me that you don't root for them.
If Wapato is the hoquiam of their area, I'm not staying in any hotels there.
Okay.
Okay.
Go get
I'll find a place in Yakima
Wapato.
and I'll go visit.
Hey, go get a taco or burrito in Wapato.
You'd rather stay in Yakima than Wapato?
I don't know. I don't think I've ever been to Wapato.
Well, hopefully
I like hoquiam though. I just don't want to stay in a hotel there.
Hopefully I'm staying in Yakima in a week, but it's going to be tough. But as far as Elma, I'm on the opposite spectrum. Looking at the matchups that we could have gotten, I am happy with our matchup over Lake. Not just travel wise, but they're not a bad team. I'm not saying that at all. And it's going to be very tough for us, and you never know what you're going to get. But I would rather play over Lake than Annie Wright, any of the District 3 teams, Cascade Christian, Seattle Christian. I would rather play over Lake than any of those. And obviously I would rather go to Bellevue than go to Wapato, but
All right. As much as we could talk about this, I think it's time for us to try and consolidate it down. We need to name an athlete of the week. I know who I'm leaning towards.
I'm going to remove Chace. I want to remove him abruptly.
Oh, I do want to say real quick.
You're the worst and also the best.
As soon as he said, I want to say real quick, I was like, oh, I'm going to get him out now.
Congratulations, Justin.
You can tell me later.
Brand.
You can tell me later what you wanted to say real quick.
Dude, as much as I love Chace, as soon as he said that, I was like, I hope Justin just posted that.
He says that was rude in the comments.
Yeah, it was rude, and I 100%. Yeah. Okay, we have 2 minutes left in this period. We're gonna have to extend to a third period.
So we have athlete of the week, wrestling, and Justin's terrible takes on shared refrigerator
and swimming
etiquette, and swimming.
Okay. On the other side of this commercial break.
Do you have a legal situation and need someone on your side? Let the law office of Jeffrey A. Damashevitz be your advocate. If you've been the victim of medical malpractice, suffered a personal injury, or need representation with real estate law, small business law, or estate planning, let Jeff Damashevitz put his 29 years of experience to work for you. Call Jeff Damashevitz today at 360-612-3991 or visit damashevitzlaw.com. That's DAMASIEWICZLAW.com.
Spivey Realty Group's goal is to make buying, selling, investing, and renting real estate in Grace Harbor simple. They believe in 100% transparency and unparalleled communication with local expertise, tech-enhanced, and top-notch service for their friends, neighbors, and community. Their goal is simple: get a group of strong-willed, hard-working people together who want to make a difference in Grace Harbor and to use real estate as the means of achieving that. Voted Grace Harbor's best real estate company. Find them on Facebook or visit graceharborrealestate.com. Spivey Realty Group, elevating small town real estate.
Hello, Justin.
Hey, I'm here. Is Daniel here yet?
Daniel's not here yet.
Okay.
We're still
I'm
efforting him.
Laughing to myself about how I removed Chace from the call. That's pretty much it. Yeah. But we're going to talk wrestling.
Chace says that Justin doesn't care about wrestling, is what that proved.
Oh, he was about to tell us a wrestling thing. And
He
okay,
says,
I got the
Elma Boys Wrestling, 4th in state, Xavier Espinoza, state title, Troy Rupe and Aiden Johnson, 4th in state.
Congratulations to those guys. I do have that information in front of me, so I'm actually fine now. I'm extra fine with the possibility that
you can
with
tell
having Chace
Daniel
removed.
when he eventually gets here.
Yeah. Where is Daniel? What we were
I'm
supposed
not
to
sure.
just jump right back in here. Let's do, while we're waiting for Daniel, I know he already saw these results, so let's review the swimming results that we got from our buddy Rob, who is swim and dive coach at. Does he coach swim and dive or just swimming?
I think he coaches
I think he's swim and
dive.
Yeah.
There may be a dive coach also, but
okay.
Oh, here we go.
Is Daniel here?
Daniel is joining.
Okay, so results from swimming state. This is for Aberdeen swim and dive. Cole Nylander took 4th overall in the state A final of the 100 breaststroke with a time of 1 minute and 2.56 seconds.
That's real
and
fast.
I know, because I know swimming.
My personal best was 1:11.
Oh, okay. So that's much faster than Andrew.
Much faster than me.
The 200 medley relay of Cooper Gill, Cole Nylander, Zeke Olson, and Emmett Johnson won the B final, which made them 9th overall. And in the 200 freestyle relay, Johnson, that'd be Emmett Johnson, Merritt Steele, Cooper Gill, and Zeke Olson took 15th overall. And also Olson was 14th overall in diving. 2A state swim and dive, super competitive, really fun just to see guys from our local area able to go compete there. Massive shout out to Cole Nylander, 4th overall in the state A final in the 100 breaststroke, and also being a part of that 200 medley relay, who won the B final for 9th overall. So congratulations to those guys, and an extra special shout out to Cole Nylander. Great job.
Yeah, kicking Andrew's butt.
Also, I have some wrestling.
Wait, hold up, Andrew. What was your best time?
It was 1:11, a high 1:11.
And Cole's was
1:02. He's a good 10 seconds faster than I ever was.
Dang, and Andrew was pretty fast. Just throwing that out there.
To be fair, I was the fastest breaststroker on the team that wasn't really good at all of the strokes. That was there were a handful of guys who were faster than me, but also fast at other things.
I'm just gonna throw this out there though. I watched Andrew take first in a meet one.
What kind of meat was it? Beef?
Who knows?
Chicken?
It was at the YMCA, and I'm pretty sure you got chicken afterwards.
I like chicken. Okay, so let's go to some wrestling results here. We had a few state champions. We had a few state champions from Aberdeen. So 2A girls, I'm gonna butcher this name and I apologize. In the 125-pound weight class, Zila Kowush of Aberdeen, state champion wrestler.
Let's go.
Also, for Elma boys, as Andrew mentioned that Chace was going to say before I cut him off, Xavier Espinosa in the 132-pound weight class for Elma's boys, state champion. That is a back-to-back state champion, Xavier
Back to
Espinosa.
back. Let's go.
And finally, our last state champion from Montesano, so 1A boys, 120-pound weight class, Finley Eckerson, state champion. So 3 local state champs. Congratulations to all 3 of you. That's awesome. I'm going to run through some more results of placers. So Jimmy Gertzen from Aberdeen in the boys 2A 215-pound weight class took 8th place. Landon Hamblin for Aberdeen in the boys 285-pound weight class took 2nd. Ryder Lassard for Aberdeen in the 113-pound weight class took 2nd. Troy Rupe, or Roop as other people know him, for the Elma boys in the 144-pound weight class took 4th. Aiden Johnson for Elma in the 126 class took 4th. Kingston Case for Hoquiam in the 157 class took 2nd. Junior Balagot for Hoquiam, boys 120-pound weight class took 4th. Emily Broadhead, also from Hoquiam, in the girls, they do a combo 1B, 2A, 1A. So in the 130-pound weight class, she took 3rd. Maribel Mazariegos for Hoquiam girls in the 155-pound weight class took 3rd. So both of those girls, Emily Broadhead and Maribel Mazariegos, they were athletes of the week for us last week for district titles and for getting their 100th wins. So they capped their careers both with a 3rd place finish at state, which is amazing. Gage Stutzman for Montesano took 2nd in his weight class. For North Beach, Abigail Buck took 5th at the 190-pound weight class. And then for Ocosta, they had a couple. Ronan Rutzer took 6th, and Logan Rutzer took 8th. And then Raymond South Bend in the 235-pound weight class, Nina Siribun took 2nd, and that will round out the state placers. Congratulations to all those wrestlers. We've had a really good track record locally with wrestling. I'd say specifically in East County. Aberdeen's also had some really good wrestling over the years, but nice to see the B school kids get in there as well. So I think we definitely, as we're talking about athlete of the week, we have to have all 3 of our state champion wrestlers in there. Zila Kowush, and I'm going to feel it's Kowoosh. I don't know how else I would pronounce that besides Kowush. She's a state champion. Xavier Espinosa, Finley Eckerson, all state champions. So they've got to be in there. We got a nomination for Joey Bozich for athlete of the week. We also got a nomination for Gavin Muir for athlete of the week for Elma boys basketball. We did get a nomination for Ryan Weidman from Monty, but and that was after Tuesday, when they beat La Center, and I took Ryan's Tuesday performance and I lumped it in with his athlete of the week award from last week. So I put all his stats from not only the Elma game, but also the La Center game as well. So, I mean, the Elma game being the last league game and then the La Center game as well. I lumped those things in together for Ryan. So anyway, Daniel, did we have other nominations for athlete of the week?
Chace Ferrier says that he nominates Xavier and Gavin.
Yeah. Well, Xavier definitely, I would say if we're looking at like
cut out.
Daniel freaking
Hi, Daniel.
Hargrove.
Welcome back.
Yes.
I keep saying
Hi.
Daniel freaking Hargrove because it's his Zoom name. So I can
Is it
see
though?
it, but it is. And I'm realizing though I'm the only one who can see it though. So the listeners can't see that your name on Zoom is Daniel freaking Hargrove. So every time I probably sound like a jerk. And I'm not used to sounding like a jerk.
That's not true.
I was just checking our messages to see if I'm forgetting anybody that was nominated for athlete of the week, but I don't think we had any others. Cole Nylander. So Cole Nylander for swim, and then our 3 state champion wrestlers, and then Gavin Muir and Joey Bozich.
One thing I will add for Joey is having been a senior of a team that was knocked out, I would have crawled into a hole and just lived there for a while and probably gone home and pounded. And what I saw was a kid who then went and rooted his heart out for the girls team. And that impressed me a lot. So I just want to throw that out there. That while there might be more deserving stats guys out there, I was really, really impressed that Joey didn't do what I would have done, which was been like, peace, I'm going to go to Wendy's, get a Frosty and go home. Get baconated, get a Frosty and go home. He stayed and rooted on the girls and was actively cheering them on in the student section. So I just want to throw that out there.
Daniel, I have so many just amazingly fond memories of when we used to broadcast district games together. And
Dude.
I mean, we did basketball broadcasts together for several years. That just the two of us, we had one a week during the regular season. Districts would hit, and then it was a week and a half of a game almost every night. It'd be like a 8-day stretch with 6 games probably. And so we'd be driving to Centralia and Chehalis. Unfortunately, a lot were in Lewis County. We'd also be Kelso, yeah. And so much of it was oh man, where are we going to eat afterwards, and how quickly can we get there? Because a lot of these places close at 10 o'clock. And I one thing that I always remember is when there was a Wendy's nearby, it was, you want to get baconated?
Oh,
let's get baconated. And this was before we had a Wendy's in Aberdeen.
Yep.
So we couldn't just get baconated anytime we wanted. We had to be out of town to get baconated.
Yes.
Now, if I try to eat a Baconator, they're I do love them and they taste amazing, but they're greasy and they hurt my tummy.
Dude, okay, 2 things. 1, Andrew getting us pretty much on the air at Kelso that one night. We were panicking and Andrew's I'll figure this out.
Yeah.
And then us getting baconated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what I won't say that we did to Panda Express.
Yeah.
That'll just be between just us.
That's just between me and you. But also getting baconated, that one thing I did to McDonald's, which was 2 double quarter pounders, 40 McNuggets, 2 large fries without throwing up.
Yeah.
And
you enjoyed it. You enjoyed it for a while, and then at the end, it was really unpleasant.
It's bad. But now, after this last game between Elma and Hoquiam, I got a triple baconator, and I was regretting it halfway through.
You felt sick, and it just sat in your gut like a bomb.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how
it didn't feel all greasy.
It sounds like you're not eating enough baconators.
Probably true, but also
your body is atrophied and can no longer handle the nutrition.
I had bad poops all day today. Just throwing that out there.
Well, you did text us that right when we were supposed to be starting. I didn't know when you texted us that if that was Daniel, oh shoot, I forgot. I need to come up with an excuse, or if that was real.
It was real.
Okay.
It was so true.
Okay.
As much as I love our awesome performances from basketball, how do you get over a state championship?
Yeah. Then how do you pick somebody? How do you pick one out of 3 state champions?
That is also a great question, sir.
Well, because Xavier Espinoza is back-to-back.
And Aaliyah Kennedy also with a monster week. So I don't and I think we just got a nomination from her as well.
Does it count if it's from Francis?
Well, she had 17 points and 14 rebounds in their game to get them to state.
Francis nominated Jack Hughes.
I don't know who that is.
That's the hockey guy who was like all bloody when the U.S. beat Canada.
Gosh, has there ever been a worse person than Francis? Like, what's happening right now?
Dude, I'm just gonna say, like, if you're an Olympics person, my sister asked me last night if you could start over and pick
Yeah,
one Winter Olympic sport to compete in, what would it be? And I was like,
yeah,
hockey for sure. And she was like, why? And I was like, I want to be a part of a team, and hockey culture is the best culture. Like, it magnifies working hard, grinding, freaking trying on defense, being a team guy, and also bonus, if there's a problem with somebody, you fight them. You just punch them in the face.
Daniel, you know what we didn't do?
But
We didn't talk about the girls' games. Like we kind of mentioned them in the beginning, and then we didn't go back to it. We brought Chace on, and he distracted us. We only talked about Elma girls.
freaking Chace,
This is Chase's fault.
gosh darn it,
This is what happens when you let an Elma guy onto the podcast. Besides Andrew,
dude. Aaliyah Kennedy went through 17 and 14, and she sat most of the second quarter with foul trouble.
Aaliyah Kennedy goes 17 and 14 in her sleep. So I'm gonna need her to score. I need her to go 25-20 for it to even register as a thing for me.
Dude, I just want to throw this out there. Sydney Gordon, 8 points, 15 rebounds. It was
A lot of
huge.
rebounds.
It was a good game for Sydney.
Yeah.
Great.
And we talked a little bit about seeding on the boys' side. I didn't mention the seeds for the girls' basketball bracket. Hoquiam will be the 15. Montesano will be the 13. Seton Catholic, who was the district champ from District 4, got the 7 seed. So Seton Catholic only lost to Hoquiam, or only beat Hoquiam by 1 point. Am I right in the semifinal?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So I don't think that I know that Seton Catholic did beat Monty by more. Like it wasn't quite as close in that game. But is that kind of a crazy gap between these three teams for seeding?
Yes, if Hoquiam wasn't so inconsistent. Like Hoquiam goes and plays Seton Catholic to a 1 point game, and then in their next game they barely beat Ilma. So it's really both of Hoquiam's teams, boys and girls. Like they can beat the best team and then be right next to the worst team on their next game.
Yeah. And I think that probably there's two factors I'd say are the most prominent in that. One is depth and two is youth because they only have, like we've mentioned this is the Magnificent Seven. They only have 7 players. That's their whole program. That's varsity JVC squad. That's the whole program is 7 players at this point. And one of them is a freshman.
Yeah.
That's right? One of them's a freshman.
Yep.
So you get past like their big 3 are Aaliyah Kennedy, Sydney Gordon, and Lexi LaBounty, and they're really good. And then they've got a Broadhead on that team too, right?
Avery
Broadhead on that team. And it's just like when you only have 7 players, and I know the freshman coach Chad Allen talked about their freshman that she's talented and athletic, but only a freshman. So trying to compete when you get to this point, like we're in the high levels of districts and into state, you're going to be competing with a lot of really good athletes. But if you don't have depth, and Aaliyah Kennedy is your star, and she gets 2 fouls real quick, and then has to sit, and then gets another foul real quick. And I didn't see the game, so I don't know how legit the fouls were, but I do know there was a game last year when they were playing against Monty, and she got fouls real quick, and I was like, even as a Monty guy, I was like, I don't know about that. You know, sometimes you get fouls just because you're bigger and stronger than other people. That's when the depth starts to show up. That's when the depth starts to show up, is when you have to start putting someone in for your star.
Yep. Her second foul, I wrote down 2 points for Aaliyah, and I put a little free throw. So the way I do stats is you write down, like, I don't know if you can see it on there. but you can see a little circle.
Yeah.
And then when you put a line through it, that's if they made the free thrower.
Yeah.
So when Aaliyah picked up her second foul, I put down a 2 in a circle. And I was like, Aaliyah Kennedy with an and one bucket. How strong. And then all of a sudden, Elma's taking the ball out from the baseline. I'm like, what? They called that a player control foul? And I looked over at Chace and I put my hands up and I was like, you got I had marked it down as an and one opportunity and they had called it a player control foul. And so I had to scratch all that out. But you're right. That can, when you only have 7 players, that changes a huge piece of the game.
Yeah, for sure. And I think also it like as we kind of think about what to expect from these teams going forward, for Hoquiam as a 15 seed, it's a tough hill to climb. You know, they're going to start against Cascade Christian, which is a 10 seed. That's an elimination game. If they are able to win that one, which I absolutely think they're capable of, I mean, the talent at the top level of this Hoquiam team is pretty freaking good. And then having the senior leadership they have in Sydney Gordon and Lexi LeBounty also really good. But do they have the depth to be able to make it work? Can they play discipline to be able to make it work with the limited players that they have? And when they're going up against some players who are just as good as they are they going to be able to match up with that? I think they're capable of beating pretty much anyone with their talent, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be very difficult, and their seed has made it extra difficult because they're facing 2 elimination games to get to that double elimination round in Yakima. And Monty's in a very similar position, just being a couple seeds higher. They're going to have to travel to Cedar Park Christian to start things off, and then
that's north of Spokane.
Is it? I don't even know. I lose track of where a lot of these private schools are.
Cedar Park Christian, isn't that who our buddy Cy Dorman's kid lost to?
No, that was Deer Park.
Deer Park. Okay. All right. I was mixing that up.
Yeah, Deer Park is north. That's a public school though. But that's north of Spokane.
Right. Okay. I don't know where Cedar Park is.
Yeah. But either way, for Hoquiam or for Monty, it's going to be tough to get into that final 8 where you're in the double elimination round at Yakima. But I don't want to lose sight of the fact that like it's such a huge accomplishment just to make it to state.
Cedar Park
it's
Christian
a very difficult
is
thing
north of Shoreline, so it's up in Seattle.
Okay, that's not as bad. Not nearly as bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think even just having the accomplishment of making it to state, you know, some kids will play their whole high school career and not make it to state in any sport, you know, let alone being able to make it in multiple sports. But it's going to be difficult. Daniel, we talked a little bit about Hoquiam. What can you tell us about Monty? Did you see their district title game? You didn't see that?
I didn't know.
Okay.
So the problem, what the bummer was, the Elma Hoquiam games were the first 2 games of the day at the site at Centralia, and the Monty title games were the last 2 games.
Yeah.
And so I just couldn't stay for like 6 hours in between.
You didn't want to be there for 14 hours total and stay for 6 hours of nothing but dead time in the middle?
Dude, if I could have, like I said, if I was still working full time,
a 24-year-old Daniel Hargrove would have done that.
Yes, but a 37-year-old with 3 kids, and I had just worked out of town for like 3 days in a row at my day job. It just didn't work out.
I mean, you can't even sit up straight for a full 2-hour podcast. I mean,
I'm falling asleep as we speak.
All right, let's pick an athlete of the week.
I got to think it's our state champs, but are we going to try and limit it to 1?
It probably wouldn't be right to limit it to 1, right? We probably need to
also Chace says he watched the state title games and he could have talked about it, but you kicked him out of the Zoom.
Yeah, I did, and I stand by that decision.
All right. So what are we doing? State champs.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so let's just say it doesn't feel right to eliminate any of our state champs from being athlete of the week, so we're going to do all three of them. We are going to have
Oh.
the one that I really hope I'm pronouncing correctly, Zila Kawush from Aberdeen
Zila
for
Kawush.
the girls' 125-pound weight class state title. Xavier Espinosa from Elma at boys 132.
Yeah.
That's a back-to-back champion. And also
Yes.
Finley Eckerson.
Let's
Finley's either
go.
junior or a sophomore. I can't remember which one he is. He might be a sophomore.
Yeah, it might be.
So he's got a
Maybe.
chance to go back-to-back like Xavier did.
Yep.
So congratulations to all three of those wrestlers. You are our Spivey Athletes of the Week, brought to you by Spivey Realty Group.
Thank you so much to our sponsors, 5E Realty Group and the law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz. And to you, athletes, you have now peaked or plateaued as your high school careers may be continuing.
And I think if it wasn't one of those three, that it didn't happen where they all happened on the same week, we probably would have gone with Cole Nylander, I think, for a 4th place finish in state and then also a 9th place finish in the medley at state. So
Yep.
shout out Cole Nylander and Aberdeen Swim and Dive.
100%. Love that. All right,
Yep.
Justin.
All right, well,
Justin,
this is
you
the moment
need to...
we've all been waiting for.
Yes.
Do
All
you
of
want
us
to set
have
it up or
been
do you want me
waiting
to
for
set
this.
it up? I'm willing to let you do it if you want to do it, because I think that you're gonna, even just you explaining it is gonna make you sound like an absolute fool.
Okay, so at work, you have a shared refrigerator in the break room. A lot of us have seen this. You have a shared refrigerator. There's food in said refrigerator.
As most refrigerators have.
Yes. When you open it and you see something you want, it's not yours. You did not put it in the refrigerator. Do you just grab it and eat that food because you're like, I like that food, I want to eat it?
Oh, I forgot. I'm not in charge of this video. I was going to remove you. Sorry, go ahead.
But do you just eat random food out of the refrigerator that is not yours and you don't know anything about it except for the fact that you're like, I opened this refrigerator, that looked yummy, I'm going to eat it?
I think there's a little bit of missing context in the way you're explaining it, because this
was hey Justin, I just want to say before you start that was the literal situation we were presented with. Kai did not know anything about this
We're
food.
not using names.
I'm using names. He didn't know anything about the food except for, that looks good, it's in the refrigerator, I'm gonna eat it.
Okay. Does it change your opinion at all, the fact that this is a shared refrigerator which often has shared food in it?
We started with this as a shared refrigerator. We started with that.
It's a shared refrigerator which often has food in it that is free for anyone, that is brought in by someone to share with everyone, or it's left over from some other kind of event. There is often food in this refrigerator which is up for grabs.
Is that not communicated at all? People just put stuff in there and don't say anything about it?
Well, no, that happens all the time. But when we had this conversation, I said the onus is on the person who puts the food in the refrigerator that they don't want anyone else to eat to label it as theirs. If I put food in there that I don't want anyone to touch, I'm going to write Justin on it. And if any food is in there, for me personally, I have a lot of issues with food. So I'm not generally just going to eat anything unlabeled that I find in there. But to have like a disproportionate emotional reaction to the fact that somebody ate your food was the thing that I took exception to. And you seemed so offended.
I put something in the fridge. I come back the next day, it's gone. And somebody
Did you write your name on it?
Food. No, I'm sorry, I forgot. Or I did write my name on it and it fell off. But somebody else comes in and goes, hey, there's food. I'm going to eat that. I don't know what it's about. I'm just going to eat it. I haven't heard whether it's somebody else's or like some random leftovers that people's putting in there. I don't know either way, so I'm gonna risk it and eat it. What if my note fell off of the food?
Does it change your opinion at all if it's prepared versus unprepared? So like I think it's different if you go and get like you go get teriyaki chicken with rice from Happy
Yeah.
Teriyaki, right? And you don't
Ooh.
eat it all. And it's
My guy.
It's so
Who
you put
doesn't
that in
eat
the
that?
fridge. Like you put that in the fridge, you don't really have to label that. Like someone should know that's a half-eaten lunch from someone that I'm not going to touch. But if you have something that's
Whoa,
like
whoa, 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 hold up.
Sure.
Why are you assuming that's the case?
because
Why-
I can see
Who are
that
you to
it's-
make the ground rules? Who are you to make the ground rules?
You've known
Between
me for a long time, Daniel. I march to the beat of my own drum. Okay, I make the rules everywhere we go.
okay.
Yeah, I just think it changes it like prepared food versus unprepared food. Like if something was like an
What is
individual meal that's
unprepared
purchased.
food?
Well,
Yeah,
the
Andrew-
situation
Andrew,
that we're
hop in.
talking about.
Okay,
It was-
Andrew, hop in real quick.
The situation we're talking about was uncooked jalapeno cheddar sausages is what it was. And
Yeah.
and then somebody who we won't name, that Daniel already did, looked in the fridge, saw, oh, there's a couple of unprepared jalapeno cheddar sausages. I'll cook those up and eat them.
No,
So,
he didn't cook them up. He just unwrapped them and ate them.
Justin's. Were they
They were
pre-cooked?
not-
they
they were
pre-cooked
packaged.
sausages.
Pre-cooked sausages that he just unwrapped and popped them in his mouth. I don't know why that would change things.
That does change things if they're cooked.
Why? Why? The guy saw the wrapping paper in the garbage and was like, "Those were my sausages."
Were they in
And-
original?
Andrew,
were they in
I wanna-
original packaging, or they were in a Ziploc baggie?
They were in original packaging, is how I took the story.
So I would be more likely to eat them if they were in original packaging, and less likely to eat them if they were in a Ziploc bag.
So, for me, this boils down partly to the culture of the place. If it is very common for things to be put in the fridge unlabeled for everyone, then it is reasonable to assume that if it's unlabeled in the fridge, you can eat it.
Okay, I
That-
win. Let's go ahead and
feel
just
like
end the
that's
conversation
very
now.
culturally
Shut up.
dependent. Outside, I do feel like if you put something in the fridge and you don't label it, you don't get a complaint because somebody thought it was okay to eat. And on the same level, if you don't know, it's not okay to eat it.
So, see, that's where I'm coming from. Like, A,
Oh, Andrew's a fence sitter right now. He's playing both sides.
if you want to be absolutely sure nobody eats this, put your name on it.
Yes.
B, if it's not your food, why are you eating it? C,
If
the
people
cult-
took that mindset, then none of the shared food would ever be eaten.
Justin,
If it's-
Well,
it's a simple text message. It's a simple text message. I put this in the fridge. Feel free.
or
Eat the food.
or label it
It's
clearly.
a share table. It's a share table.
That's a
This
recipe for
shared
lots of
food.
spoiled food, Daniel.
No.
I will
No,
say
it's
Starving
not.
children in Africa. You want to waste food?
if
You said
I
I was the socialist here.
if
You
I
are, because you see food and you're like, this must be everybody's food.
and if it's everybody's food, it's no one's food.
If it's everybody's food, it's my food. And
This
I'm
is-
going to eat all of it. Whereas a capitalist would say, somebody put this in here. It's their food. It's not my food. I did not earn this food. I did not buy this food. I did not make this food. Therefore, it is not my food.
Ultimately, this is what my whole point boils down to. And then I'm going to shut up and stop cutting Andrew off. In a situation where there often is shared food in a refrigerator that's up for grabs, the responsibility for anyone who wants to have food not eaten by others is to write their name on that food, have it clearly marked so that no one else will eat it. And anything that happens to your food, if it's unmarked, as far as I'm concerned, you don't get to be upset about it.
I guess the problem is I've never been in a situation where there's been such an abundance of shared food.
Why does it have
Like,
to be in abundance?
no,
It just happens regularly.
No, it's majority. It's majority, Justin.
I didn't say it was majority.
You said an abundance.
I said it
Regularly.
I said it happens regularly. I didn't say the
Okay,
majority
so
of the
I've
food in the
never
fridge.
been in an office situation where there's been so much random shared food.
Oh, you work at
Like-
bad offices then.
No, I work at offices where you only have your own food in the refrigerator.
I hope you
Like,
labeled it.
that is a weird. No, Justin, hold up. That is a weird thing that maybe is church related, where you just have random leftovers. Otherwise, the fridge is for people who brought their lunch in and they put it in the refrigerator.
Daniel, who hurt you?
A normal office situation is not, hey, we just got random food in here willy-nilly.
I think
No.
actually that does
office-
happen though.
It
It does,
happens.
like a lot of
but a normal no. Hold up.
podcast
Hold up.
scenario. A lot of the
Hold up.
podcasts I listen to have eating areas with shared food that they stock the refrigerator with food for the employees.
I've never worked in an office where the refrigerator was not for employees to take in the morning, put their lunch in the refrigerator, and eat it at lunch.
I can tell
That
this
is
is an
a-
emotional issue
no.
for you.
That is a normal. No, I usually don't do that.
You're
keep
hurt
my
by
food-
something. What
No,
happened?
I keep. When I was in college, somebody
I
stole
knew it.
food.
I knew it. I knew there was something there.
Somebody stole food out of my car.
That was
Could your
they
car
stole
have been
other stuff
refrigerated?
also.
My car was not locked, but somebody stole food out of it.
Did you label
And
the
I was
food?
like-
Because otherwise, then they were totally right in taking the food out of your car. If it wasn't labeled,
That's the thing. That's the thing. An office refrigerator.
is a
I don't know
car.
how. I
So-
don't know how churches work, but an office refrigerator is for someone to come in the morning, put their food in it, and eat it at lunch.
Well,
Yeah.
this food was there.
That
overnight.
is a normal office routine. So I don't know how churches work, where you just have random leftovers and they're willy-nilly.
Based
but
on
that
your
is a
angry
normal
reaction.
thing.
You definitely don't know how churches work. You're too angry to know how churches work.
I do want to say this is something that if you are providing if you are the office manager and there is an office refrigerator, this is something that should be on the door of the refrigerator. Whether
Like label your
unlabeled-
food whether or not.
Yes, whether unlabeled food is like a perfectly reasonable sign to put on the refrigerator would be unlabeled food is free to take. You could also have a free to take shelf in the refrigerator that was marked. But I do think
We
that
always had a share table.
it's
If it was shared, it went on the table.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you did work in places where there was shared food, you liar.
But you put it on the shared table.
Can I bottom line this for you? I get offended. People have feelings.
we're so
So
close to
when
the
someone
end of
gets their
this.
feelings hurt, it offends me.
I get offended when people steal my food.
Out of your car or the fridge.
Either way, it's food. Food has an intrinsically higher value than anything else. Somebody stole my food. I was offended. That is not just, that is sustenance. That is something to keep life going.
We got to wrap up the show.
But,
I think we can all agree I got the best of this argument. All right. So for thank you
I don't
to
know.
our sponsors, Spivey Realty Group and the Law Office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz. So for my co-host, Daniel, Daddy called me a Democrat, the soy boy Hargrove.
and my co-host, Justin, I'm actually a socialist because I think everything in a refrigerator is mine and not just somebody specifically, Domashevitz.
See, and if I got my feelings hurt over that, I would be offended by myself for having feelings. And
I'm
for
not offended. I'm just hungry. I want food so bad right now.
And for our trusty producer, Andrew, the only person who can spin more plates than Nick Sisson Gross. You've been listening to the Scrimmage.
to Scrimmage.